Hey guys, what's going on? It's Obes, back again with another video. This week we're looking at Flashback Hatem Ben Arfa. We'll run through his stats, look at how he performs in game, and then justify whether he's worth the roughly 200k it'll cost to complete his SBC. Before we do jump into the stats, can I just say a massive thank you for all the support on the channel recently. My goal was to end 2020 with 50 subs, so to be on over 100 at this point is absolutely overwhelming, to be honest with you. It's been absolutely crazy the past few days and the support has been really great and I really appreciate it. So thanks for that guys, and the plan is to now keep it going into 2021 and let's try and hit 200. Okay, so looking at this card's information, for starters he is 4-star, 5-star, which is pretty decent, but the one thing to watch out for is he is medium-low work rates, which suggests he's going to be a pretty lazy boy. But yeah, the 5-star skills is decent and the 4-star weak foot, especially for a cam, is quite important I would say. Just beware of those work rates. Looking at the stats on this card now, the one thing I would say is he's got a lot of good stats without too many really great stats. I mean, looking at his pace, he's got good acceleration but not great sprint speed. Looking at his shooting, he's got great shot power, but then not really that great positioning and definitely not that great finishing. So you'd most likely want to be putting a chem style on that boosts shooting because those stats are pretty poor. Looking at his passing, good vision, good curve, but then pretty, good stats, but nothing incredible. And same with dribbling really. I mean, he's got good dribbling stats and really good composure and decent balance, but not great reactions. And 84 agility for that type of player really isn't great. I mean, if you're going to play him at cam or on the wing, you want to be boosting that agility up as well. Another thing worth mentioning is that 80 stam, that really isn't great for this stage of the game. Getting into Team of the Year, there's going to be a lot better cards in this sort of position with a lot better stam that'll be able to give you a full 90 minutes. With 80 stam, he's probably going to be struggling to get past the sort of 70-minute mark. So overall for me, it's a choice between sticking a hunter or an engine on him. Whether you want to choose to try and boost that finishing or boost the agility, it's up to you. But he definitely needs one or the other depending on how you're using him. He also has no traits of note, no outside the foot shot trait, which could have come in useful. So let's jump into some gameplay. Now, I've played this card in several different positions. I've tried him out on the left, out on the right, and through the middle. If I had to rank these, I'd say the worst was out on the left, because he's very one-dimensional. Out on the right, cutting into his left foot, he was pretty handy. But through the middle, either at striker or at cam was where he really shone. Being able to go either way was really useful, with that 4-star weak foot. As you'd expect, his sort of passing, his dribbling was all pretty decent. I didn't have a problem with anything for sure. I was surprised by how good he finished quite a lot of these chances. I mean, given that he had low shooting stats, and I had an engine on him, so that wasn't being boosted, I didn't find that low finishing a problem at all. I think the shot power probably came into play more, and you can see from a lot of these goals that he does score, he does just bang them past the keeper. Another surprising positive of this card was I was really impressed by how strong he was. He was very difficult to knock off the ball, and he actually won me a lot of penalties because he was able to get between the player and the ball quite a few times, whereas smaller players would have just been eased off it and nothing would have been given. So his strength is a surprise bonus. He wins the ball back quite a lot, and when he's got it, he's quite hard to dispossess, which did surprise me. Another positive, as expected, is that weak foot, meaning that he can go either way. A lot of people do expect you to use his left foot, so the fact that you can switch it onto the right and do something decent with it is really positive. And I think extremely important if you're going to be playing him in the number 10 role. So all round, a decent player, if not fantastic. I do have a couple of negatives to pick him up on. The biggest one that I found was his stam. He was absolutely finished by the 60th, 65th minute, especially because I play quite pressing football. I was having to take him off because he literally had no energy left whatsoever. And I mean, for the amount of money you'd have to pay to get him, I think that's a bit ridiculous really. And to further sort of compound that, my other big negative with him is he's so lazy. Those work rates mean that he's never in the right position at the right time. He's either still catching up to the defence, or he's in your defence while you're trying to break on the attack. So I don't really understand how he can be so exhausted at the end of the game when he never seems to actually run anywhere. The biggest negative of all with this card is the price tag. 200k for this card, I've got to be honest, seems ridiculous. In recent weeks, Aouar and Nabry have both been available, and they are both definitely better players than Ben Arfa, and they were both cheaper. Don't get me wrong, I've enjoyed using him, and he probably will be a super sub for me. but I've got to be honest, if I wasn't doing this for YouTube, I would never in a million years go out and spend the amount of money to get him, as you'd have to. You can argue he is pretty linkable, but as I said, AOR came out last week and pretty much has exactly the same links, French and French League, and is by far a better and more versatile player than Ben Arfa is. So overall for me, a decent player. There's a lot of positives to the card. He doesn't do too much wrong in terms of on the ball. He hasn't got awful passing or awful shooting or anything like that. He's a good player. But for me to advise you to go out and pick this card, he'd have to be less than 80k. I think 200 is a bit of a joke in all honesty. So unless he, fits into your team absolutely perfectly, or you're an old Newcastle fan and you just want to get him back in the team, I'd be advising to avoid this card. He gets 5 out of 10 for value for me, and there's certainly better SBCs and tradable cards out there to spend your money on. But at the end of the day, that is just my opinion, so it's up to you to make your own mind up on him. That brings me to the end of the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like rating and consider hitting that sub button. As we said, the support has been amazing recently. Let's try and keep that going. See you in the next video, guys.